Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the brand new Yeti Cayo backpack, which is a rugged and highly weather resistant bag that feels like it's built for adventure. In this video I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to test this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, to me this has a little bit more of a technical and outdoorsy appearance. You have the webbing along the front, handles, even the materials just all feel like they're kind of designed for rougher environments. So this feels like it's going to be right at home. You know, if you're going on a hike, if you're going out onto the water, day at the beach, so it feels like it'll be able to handle anything that you throw at it, and it can also potentially still work for travel. As far as the build quality, this feels very solid. This exterior material feels kind of like a tarpaulin or a rubbery material that's going to offer plenty of durability and a ton of weather resistance. It really just feels like water bounces right off of this, which makes sense given the intended use cases. And then beyond that, you have some really solid webbing all throughout the handles, and everything feels well reinforced. And you have PU coated zippers, so these are going to be well protected. And then one of the cool things about this is also the seams. You can see here that they're designed in a way that's going to make the bag even more weather resistant. A lot of backpacks, even that have, the aqua guarded zippers, there's still the possibility of water seeping in through the seams, and so great to see that here, that they're welded seams, so you're gonna have that extra peace of mind when you get caught in the elements or in some heavier rain. Continuing along the outside of the bag, you have a couple of nice handles on the sides and at the top, so lots of ways to kind of pick the bag up, maneuver it, throw it in a trunk, one on each side. And you also have dual handles here at the top, so you can hang the bag up if you need to, you can open it up, you can pick it up easily. And so these, again, have a nice feeling material here, well reinforced. And then you have attachment points near the handles, so you can clip on additional accessories with carabiners. You have some loops at the top, at the bottom, and then the dual rows of webbing along the front. And I like the additional flexibility that this provides for, again, clipping gear on that's just not gonna fit inside of the bag. You compare it with, something like a hero clip or any sort of a carabiner is gonna work well. And on the front, you also have the Yeti logo, which is fairly prominent, as has been the case with most of their bags. You don't have the Velcro patch here, so you can't customize this or easily cover it in the way that we could on the Ranchero, but still something that at least is kind of blacked out to blend in with the exterior of the bag. The last thing I'll mention while we're talking about the outside is that this does manage to stand up pretty well on its own because of the materials being a little bit more rigid. The bag maintains its structure, so I can place it down next to me and it was able to stand up on its own most of the time. Moving into the capacity, this comes in at about 25 liters, which I'm always a fan of for the versatility that it offers. So it's something that I can use for my day-to-day, but it still feels like it provides plenty of space for longer days, particularly with the simpler layout that this offers. And the shape of this bag is fairly consistent because of the rigidity of the material, so it never gets super slim even when it's emptier, but it also doesn't feel overwhelmingly bulky. It still feels like something that I could use on a hike, or that would be comfortable to take with me in a car, on a boat, or even use it for traveling. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. I like the padding that's been included here. I do wish that it was maybe a little bit more robust, but for the most part it feels like it offers a good amount of support, comfort on the inside. You have a nice material that feels pretty soft. These straps have a pretty good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders. I would have maybe liked to have seen them be slightly wider as you pack this out, but for the most part, like I said, they felt nice. And then you have some attachment points here that you can use to hang on some sunglasses, clip on additional accessories. You have rows of webbing on both sides, and there is a sternum strap included with the bag that you can remove. It has a similar system to what we saw on the Ranchero, so I like the flexibility that this provides. I haven't been using it, felt like I haven't really needed to. And then you also have a waist strap that you can add and remove on the bottom. So you have the attachment points here, and then the waist strap is very easy to get on and off. I really like that it's fully removable. As someone who doesn't really like to use this style of strap too much, I just prefer to keep things more minimal. So it's great that I can remove it, but it's there if you like to use it. And then the back panel has also felt quite comfortable. You have a nice amount of padding that's well distributed. This feels a little more rigid than the one that's on the shoulder straps, and you also have this nice mesh that's going to provide some breathability as you're wearing this for a longer period of time. And you do feel, that patterning on the back that will also help with the breathability. I wish there would have been maybe a deeper air channel in the middle to give you some extra airflow, but for the most part, this has felt nice even as I've been wearing it with a little bit more weight. Jumping into the organizational options, you have a couple of quick access pockets. First off, at the top, very spacious. I'm always a fan of this style of pocket, particularly when it offers this much volume. It's going to be very flexible as far as allowing you to store bulkier items. Here I have a packable tote bag because I had so much extra space here towards the top and bottom. So this goes pretty deep. I can put my whole hand in here, and then it also comes up to the top. And I was also able to toss in a headlamp. I have my sunglasses with their case. I also have charging cable, my headphones, and even with all those items in there, I still had plenty of leftover capacity. I could definitely see myself tossing in a GoPro, portable batteries, and then on the inside, you also have a lanyard with a clip that's gonna be a good spot for your keys or a multi-tool. On the front, you have another quick access pocket. This one has a vertically oriented zipper, so you can access it more easily if you're holding it by this side handle or if you swing the bag around. And this offers a pretty good amount of capacity. Currently, I'm just using this to store a pouch. This is my Tom Bin Ghost Wheel pouch, but I believe that the intention for this pocket is for water bottles. And it does offer enough capacity for something like my 20-ounce water bottle that I feature in a lot of my videos. And you have a nice durable feeling material on the inside. We'll take a closer look at that in the main area, but this does hold my 20-ounce water bottle. I can close it. The height worked pretty well. It does start to feel a little bit tighter, especially when the main area is more packed out. So that's something that you'll have to keep in mind, but nice that you do have the space to hold a water bottle if you want to carry one. And then moving into the main compartment, this is a bag that, the zippers go down all the way. It doesn't quite open up clamshell, but you do get plenty of visibility into the bag, which is nice. And the 25 liters of capacity can hold an impressive amount with this layout. And so I just loaded this out with kind of my typical EDC layout with a lot of pouches just to kind of showcase the capacity. Of course, this might change depending on the activity that I'm going to be doing, if I'm going to the beach, pool, or something. And so I have my over-ear headphones, Civic Access pouch, 1 liter. I have a packable rain jacket, a Peak Design packing cube, my Lockbee Tech pouch, and I have another Evergood Civic Access pouch, 1 liter. I have my Alpaca Admin pouch, and then the last thing I have here at the bottom are some more pouches, Civic Access pouch, 1/2 liter, and the 2 liter. So that's a lot of stuff that was able to fit in there, and it still felt like the bag had additional space, and so very generous as far as this 25 liters. With this open layout, this can also work well for minimal travel. If I wanted to toss in my packing cube, a toiletry bag, an extra pair of shoes, I could definitely use this for a longer weekend trip. On the back, you have a little bit of built-in organization, a couple of elastic slip pockets here. These offer a good amount of capacity and elasticity. This is a cool material here. I was able to store my portable battery in one of these, and then on the other one, just left it empty because I have so much of my stuff in the pouches. And then on the back, you have a sleeve that has that same elastic material. And this is pulled up quite far from the bottom of the ground, so it could be a good area to store something like a tablet. Here I have my iPad mini. I was able to slide in my 14-inch MacBook Pro, but it was fairly tight. I don't think anything larger than that would be, comfortable to fit into this sleeve, but don't really think that that was the, intended use case. So glad that it works with my device. This is probably meant more so to hold a hydration bladder. So you can pair it with this strap here at the top. You also have the pass-through here. And this was interesting because, the bag is so weather resistant, everything is so weather sealed, that it's interesting that you have kind of this open area which prevent this from being, quite on the same level as something like a dry bag. So, you still have this point where if the bag were to fall into the water, or, if you have it upside down in the rain for whatever reason, water could still get in through this section. But if you're using this for hiking and you want to have a hydration bladder, at least you do have the ability to kind of add that and use it comfortably. On the other side of the main compartment, you have an additional zippered area here. That's going to be a good spot for anything smaller that you don't want getting lost On the bottom of the bag, you again have a nice elastic material here. At the moment, I'm just storing a Field Notes notebook in here, but good for cables and other smaller tech or EDC items. And so I really like the minimal layout and the amount of space provided here. It does feel like a layout that is effective and easy to use. And if you want something that's gonna be a little bit more rugged and weather resistant and work well in the outdoors and for more adventurous pursuits, then this is gonna be a really interesting option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty great experience testing out the Yeti Cayo over the past couple of weeks. You can now purchase this on Yeti's site, and I'll make sure to include a link in the description below to the product page if you want to learn more about this bag or pick one of them up. And so as I was testing this out, the first bag this made me think of was Yeti's Ranchero backpack, which I featured pretty recently on the channel. That was an interesting blend of Yeti and Mystery Ranches styles after the company was acquired. It has the tri-zip opening that will allow you to use it as a top loader. You can open it up when you want to access the bottom of the bag. Very solid exterior materials, highly weather resistant, pretty comfortable harness system, luggage pass-through. It's offered in a 22 and 27 liter size. With the 27 liter, you get a dedicated laptop compartment, but if you get the smaller size, you still have a laptop sleeve that's integrated into the main area that's well padded. And it just had a really cool style. I think that it was a versatile, rugged bag. It had the compression straps along the front that you could remove if you didn't want to use them. And so it checked off a lot of the same boxes, I would say, as this one here. It's maybe not gonna be quite as weather resistant. And if you're looking for something with this level of ruggedness that's also gonna offer that laptop protection, then the Ranchero is gonna be a good option to take a look at. Another bag this made me think of is the Arc'teryx Granville, which is one of the most weather-resistant bags on the market. It's a little bit more minimal as far as the aesthetic, but it still feels a little more technical and outdoorsy. It's got a very simple layout. You have a padded laptop sleeve in the main area, a quick access pocket. The harness system was updated on the newer Granville edition, so it's a little bit more comfortable. It comes in at 16 liters, or the version that I looked at was about 16 liters. And so it's a little bit more compact and EDC friendly, but if you're looking for something that's gonna offer this level of ruggedness and weather resistant in a more minimal package, then that's gonna be a fantastic option to take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Black Ember Citadel, which has a really modern techie style, super rugged materials that are also highly weather resistant. And I like the organizational layout on that one. It's got a couple of quick access pockets, clamshell style opening, padded and suspended laptop sleeve, comfortable harness system, luggage pass-through, and I just really love the minimal style that it offers. It's something that's gonna blend in well into an urban setting. And so if you're looking for something with this level of weather resistance that's gonna be more tech focused, and that's one of the best options that you can take a look at. With that being said, the Yeti Cayo holds up pretty well against all those options, and if you're looking for a rugged and spacious bag that's gonna work well in the outdoors and offer a ton of weather resistance, then this is gonna be a really interesting option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Yeti Cayo and how it compares to some of the other popular EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank Yeti for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.